time now for the game preview presented by Ticketmaster, here with head coach Kevin Stefanski. Kevin, you guys are coming off a game that saw you lose by just 2 points. How's the team coming away with that, looking to build off of that game?
Yeah, obviously very frustrated when you're at home and you don't get that win that you're working so hard to get. But you have to learn from those moments. You have to learn from what's holding you back. And certainly there's things that we feel like we can do better, offense, defense, special teams, players, coaches, you name it. So learning lessons, they're tough in losses, but you better learn from them.
Well, week 15, you're heading to Chicago to take on Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears. What have you seen from him? How has he been able to take over that team in his first year as head coach?
I think Ben's doing a nice job. Obviously, you look at his background as an offensive coach and what he did in Detroit, very similar with an offensive line that they have in Chicago now, similar to what he had in Detroit, where they are committed to the run game, a lot of the different run types that they've run over the years, and then everything is built off of that with their play action game and how they're able to get the ball down the field. And then they're very opportunistic on defense. Dennis Allen does an outstanding job as a defensive coordinator taking that football away. So plus 17 in the turnover margin is going to lead to a lot of good things.
All right, we talked last time the weather was a factor at the end of it. Let's start with weather. Historically low temperatures expected in Chicago, wind chills -10. I know you guys are used to cold weather here in Cleveland, but is there anything you can really do to prepare for games that have conditions like these?
Not really. You're outside throughout the week and getting used to the cold, but it's going to be 20 degrees colder than it is outside here. But for us, when it comes to conditions, we deal with them, whatever it is, whether it's really hot, really cold, really windy, rainy, whatever it is, both sides deal with it the same way. So the premium is on execution in those elements.
All right, let's talk Bears quarterback Caleb Williams. What are you seeing from him as a passer? And if weather does impact the passing game, how mindful do you have to be about his game on the ground?
He's an extremely gifted passer. He can make every throw there is, can throw to all areas of the field, great zip on his ball, great touch. And then the piece that makes him unique is just the elusiveness. He's able to play on time and let it rip, and then he can get outside the pocket, and we have to understand he can throw the ball to all areas of the field when he's outside the pocket.
All right, some of his passing game, Rome Odunze is back to practice for them, but he had that foot injury, so waiting to see. How are you anticipating them navigating the receiving room with or without Odunze, knowing that they had DJ Moore for maybe his lowest volume game?
Well, I think they have really good skill players in total. Multiple running backs, multiple tight ends, multiple wide receivers. I think that's the strength of their group, is they're not relying on one person per se. So they're spreading the ball around. Obviously, Odunze is a great player that we have a lot of respect for, but they have a lot of guys that they're trying to get the football to. All
right, an uncharacteristic game for your defense last week in the run stop. What does this week look like in terms of addressing some of those lapses, and how mindful do you have to be when they have guys like DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monange?
Extremely mindful. I mean, this is a very, very good run attack, and it's a combination of scheme and players. So it goes back to our style of defense and how we play, what's in our DNA, and that's oftentimes not really complicated. We just got to go play with great effort, play our technique, and we feel really confident when we have 11 guys doing that, we'll have our success.
Bears defense, their pass rush led by Montez Sweat, but they're ranked 31st in the league for pass rush win rate. How important is that progress that you've seen from Shedeur Sanders in terms of his footwork and pocket presence in a matchup like this one?
Yeah, it's huge. This is a very, very good defense for a variety of reasons, and number one being how they take the football away. So that's very much on our mind as you put a game plan together, and for the quarterback, understanding versus these zones that sometimes you're going to let it rip, sometimes you're going to take checkdowns, sometimes you're going to extend plays. So for Shedeur, it's so important to just continue to play on time. I think that's one of the things that you see in his game as he gets more turns at this, continue to grow, where he can play on time, listen to his feet, move up in the pocket, all those type of things.
Shedeur also just won the NFL Rookie of the Week. What can you say about him from the first start to now?
Progress. I'm really proud of the progress that he's making, and he's doing a good job of there's tangible things that we're asking him to improve, and he's doing it just by working hard at it. Sometimes it's getting better in a meeting room, sometimes it's getting better in an individual drill, and those type of things show up on game day.
All right, in your run game, the Bears defense is allowing 5.1 yards per carry for rushers. What's the key to getting the run game established in this one, especially after coming off a game that you had under 100 rushing yards?
Yeah, it's a huge part of our success on offense will be how balanced we are if we're having the ability to run the football efficiently and explosively. This is a very good group. We understand, with Sweat over there and a bunch of guys, whether linebackers, T.J. Edwards, who makes 1,000 tackles, it feels like, they have really good players in this scheme. So it's no different than playing good run defense. Playing good run offense is everybody being on the same page, giving our runners, giving Quinshawn some rooms, get him to the second level, and let him do his thing.
We know special teams can play such a factor in close games and obviously in weather games. What does this matchup need to look like in terms of having success as a special teams unit as a whole?
Well, I think it's twofold, like you mentioned with the weather, the ability to make your kicks in the cold where the ball's not traveling as much. We'll see what the wind is doing as well, and that's always a factor when you're playing at Soldiers Field. So that'll be a factor. And then just the coverage units, our coverage units versus how they're returning the ball and vice versa. It really comes back to technique. When our technique is good, we have been productive in the special teams unit.
All right, you talk about it every week, and you just talked about it a lot here, that turnover margin. You said the Bears plus 17. They've got guys like Kevin Byard and Deshaun Wright there to take the ball away. What are you preaching to the guys this week, knowing that they don't give the ball away a lot, but they're taking it away at such a high clip?
It doesn't change anything of what we believe in and how we coach and what we emphasize. Obviously, defensively, we're always looking to take the ball away, and that's by playing our style of defense. And then offensively, like you mentioned, they've taken the ball away via the air. I think they have very ball-aware players with really good ball skills. That just means as an offense, whether it's protection or progressions or how we get open, we just all have to be on the same page.
All right, well, good luck on Sunday. Try to stay warm. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thanks, Kim.